Hey, what is up? How is everyone? This is a lot of books. This haul is from several different places, but I'd say they've accumulated over the last 3 weeks. So I'll get started with this Bartman Issue 6 from Bongo Comics. This completes the 6-issue Bartman run for me. I have X-Men 53 from the summer of '96. First appearance of Onslaught. I never owned that book before. This one right here was a cover I wasn't too familiar with until Dan Mendoza shared it as he cover swiped this for his Kickstarter book, Sugar Pop Issue 3. And I thought it was a really cool looking book, so I found a nice high grade copy. Nice book to maybe have John Romita Jr. sign someday. So here's another X-Men 1 Deluxe Edition. It's my third copy of this. Tat Comics mailed me my second copy of that. Believe it or not, I've never owned a copy of X-Force 1. This one right here I left in the bag. It's they both have the cable card. But I was really looking closely at Rob's inks on this, and I kind of picked up on something that I hadn't noticed in a long time, and it's how he sort of did a kind of a wobbly application where he'd ink it with sort of a warble, and I just thought it was really cool to sort of look at it and kind of remind me of like Keith Giffen stuff. I never notice on video, and it's really hard to see in pictures, but up close when you look at his stuff, you can see how he's almost deliberately doing the inks with a sort of shaky hand. I thought it made for a really cool effect. I hadn't thought about it in a long time. So my brother, Airborne Sapper, he's he's bought close to a dozen copies of this. I think it's one of his favorite covers. But this is X-Force 11 from June of '92, the first appearance of Domino. So glad to add that to the collection. Right here is a book I hadn't had. I haven't owned this book in 25 years. I had a copy in 1995. But yeah, X-Men 1 from the ongoing series. Excuse me. Wolverine number 1. First appearance of Wolverine as Patch from the winter of '88. It's a pretty nice copy. I mean, it's definitely nice enough for me, and I'm really glad to have it. John Buscema and L. Williamson inking. I don't know if they make any note of it on the cover. Here's Art Thibert on Cable number 1. Haven't had a copy of that in a long time. Love the gold. There's a cool copy of The Incredible Hulk 393. It's the 30th anniversary. Silver foil. So here is the Fantastic Four 353. My brother was telling me about this. I didn't know that in that bottom left corner, that's the character of Mr. Mobius that I believe Owen Wilson's going to play on the Loki show. I had no idea. My brother, I was telling him about this book, and he clued me in on it. I thought it was really cool. Owen Wilson, part of the MCU, and we both kind of got a kick out of that. I was telling a couple of friends about this. This is from the summer of '01. Superman 170. It's the first appearance of Mongol's sister, Mongel. So, and she's pretty good looking. No complaints about Mongel. Really cool. This kind of came with some books I was getting. So Superman, the Man of Steel, number 19 from the winter of 93. Sort of chipping away at that Doomsday stuff I haven't really had in floppy form. I've only sort of had the trade. This is DC versus Marvel Comics. All your favorites right there. Pretty cool. All right. So from the summer of 91, the Infinity Gauntlet one. I'm learning more and more about this. Me and my brother have been taking some time to enjoy some of the movies. It's been a great time. Speaking of which, this is Guardians of the Galaxy, number 1. I'd been curious about this book for years because prior to Shadowhawk from Image Comics, I'd never really seen any of Jim Valentino's work. And, he's one of the Marvel, or one of the Image founding fathers. So I looked at this book and I'd really like to get a little bit more of this run here. It really looks cool. I especially like the coloring process that's being used. It looks just very appealing. This is from the summer of 93. We got Thunderstrike, issue 1. I shared this one on Instagram today with the cool Mark text cover. Yeah, from the autumn of 91, the Eternals. I hadn't owned a copy of Spawn 1 in just so long. I'd kind of let it go, but I'd found this one, and it was together with some other books, and I was really glad to see it's a nice copy. It's definitely good enough for me. Just glad to have Spawn 1 again. I believe this is from, what would you call it, the spring of 92. So I just bought this book recently, Lynch Mob. I forget what the company is called, maybe Bravura? Or, oh no, it's Coffin Comics, Polito. But this is a cool foil cover done by Greg Capullo, so 1993. From Steve Mannion, this is Fearless Dawn, Secret of the Swamp. This is a conversion from 2011. And on the inside of the front cover, there's a signature and a little sketch. But really nice. The quality of the book is really great. The printing that they use to make it. This one right here is one of the original, really small printed versions of Fearless Dawn, Hard Times number 7. This one's signed by Mannion from 2016. From Atom Comics. Make sure that's focusing. Yeah. Got that directly from Steve Mannion. And he threw in this kind of convention sketch from this year. And there's what looks like he started drawing either Wolveroach from Cerebus or Wolverine from X-Men on the back of it. So this is going to be my earliest copy of The Amazing Spider-Man. This has always been my favorite cover. Issue 30. I don't know what it is. I'm still studying the cover, trying to really understand the perspective and the dynamics of what's going on here. First appearance of the cat burglar, who later briefly becomes the Prowler after stealing the suit. But for me, I can't get enough of the cover. This copy has a sub-crease going down the middle, but it's really flat. The pages are nice. I'm able to turn them comfortably. It's not like some of the older DC books I've bought where they're really brittle in the pages, and I'm just nervous looking at it the full time I have the book open. This one, it's just perfect for me. I mean, I wouldn't be able to pull the trigger on a nicer copy, but this one, it's really sharp, and yeah, it's an exciting book for me to own. You know, I made the choice to go for an early Spider-Man at a time when it's a tough decision, but this one, it worked out really well. So this is The Amazing Spider-Man 299. So years ago I had a 298, and I've had several copies of 300 over the years, but I'd never had a 299. And this cover, it's just always been really cool. I like the white background covers, you know, 298, 299, 301. This is a pretty nice copy. If I were to compare it to a high grade version, I'm sure it's not as bright. But for this one, the seller I bought some books off of, he spent $65 mailing me some comics, and after his eBay fees, I can't even imagine what it did to his profit margin. So I'm really grateful to this seller. I've thanked him. I gave him great feedback. He didn't respond because he's a relatively new seller, and I'd wager that he wasn't expecting to spend that much on shipping. But he didn't use media. He had it to me in like 3 days, all the way from, I think, Florida. Here is the Toy Biz version of The Amazing Spider-Man 301. I couldn't afford a copy of the original, whether it be direct or newsstand. This somehow became a $100 book. I'd always admired the cover. The Toy Biz version, I'm just fine with for now. My pal's got a copy he might be willing to part with for some bartering and maybe some PayPaling, but for now, got a really nice copy of this. They cleaned it up a bit. They took the what would be the barcode or the Spidey head off the bottom left. They left the Silver Sable is back blurb. You know, they took everything out of the sub box, but I think it looks pretty clean for me. You know, it's just that cover. It really kind of blows my mind that Nick Yetzel went straight from the Venom trilogy to this the Silver Sable story. But yeah, like I said, never owned any version of this book. Been a comic fan for, many years, but finally got that. So, yeah, this one right here, I actually bought this book. Well, I bought it off of Amazon. Everywhere I was looking on eBay, this book was really pricey. And I saw on Amazon they were selling them for maybe a third, somewhere between a quarter and a third of the going eBay sale prices. So I went ahead and found a seller, and he got this one out to me in 2 days, and it arrived fine. It's a nice copy. First cover appearance of Venom. Like I said, I really like the white covers. Something about McFarlane with the negative space in the background. Hydro Man cover. And I had this book out. I was putting it in some Mylar, and I had it left out. And my brother really liked the water effect, where the scales are omitted on Spidey, on the portion where he's submerged. And I told him that's one of the things I really like about it too. So I thought that was really cool that we both, it's a little bizarre that we'd have that same admiration for the cover. So to kind of tie up the second trilogy of Venom, I picked up just a really an affordable $3.17. I'm glad this book doesn't go for anything. I had a copy a long time ago, a nice high grade copy, and this one's also really high grade. The seller just let it go for a price that I was, I wasn't really thinking I'd be able to pull off, but he did it, shipped it out. Really beautiful copy, nice and bright. Yeah, summer of '89. Just real quick, I got the whole little set of Venom the Mace. Here's book 3, 2, and 1. More books for Leonardi to sign. Nice Spider-Man 2099. Here's Web of Spidey 90. I know we never do very well trying to show the holographic covers in our videos, but I got 2 copies of that. Anniversary issue. And Spider-Man 26. Yeah, it's one of those things. We can try to share our holographic covers, but so here's Silver Surfer 75. This one does pretty well on camera, I think. Yeah. It's the Infinity Crusade 1. Yeah, a lot of stuff from the 90s I didn't have or hadn't had in years. Warlock and the Infinity Watch, issue 1. Nice copy of that. I found a collection of Batman the Max. I hadn't bothered to complete this when Sam Keith wrapped it up. So when I bought this compendium, I didn't realize it was a collection of books 1 through 3. For some reason, I thought it was going to be just a lot of pinup art and sketches and research material he did, but this gathers books 1 through 3 which is cool because I'm not sure where my issues 1 through 3 are at right now. So I can read the whole thing without having to get really lucky and finding books 1 through 3 in my collection. But here's cover A of book 4, cover B of book 4. Take those off. Cover A of book 5. Cover A of book 2. Alright, you might laugh at these. These are actually kind of funny. So these are promotional comics from Chef Boyardee SpaghettiOs. But they're early, I kid you not, these are early Acclaim books. So they're early publishings of what would become Valiant Comics. And if you look at the inside art, it actually looks like early Valiant, like art from the Game Boy books. But there's another comic that it's a promotional book for KFC, and I'm pretty sure it was only released in Mexico. I saw a picture of it. I looked around. There was no records of it. So that one I showed to Kyle Rohn. He said, that'd be a cool book to own. And yeah, it would be a cool book to have. I mean, a KFC pre-Valiant Acclaim book. But the sellers who had these, to their credit, they didn't really know much about comics, but they shipped them in some cardboard, and they got them to me in collector conditions. So happy to have them. Some dollar books. Lobo, Un-American Gladiators, #1 from the summer of '93. It's a 4-part miniseries. Just ties in with what would have been over here, the American Gladiators craze. I remember watching it on Saturdays. Back when I was still small enough to like sit on the carpet and watch a show. And I just remember my dad, kicking back on the sofa, and we'd watch American Gladiators. By then, my brother would have been like 4, so he probably would have gotten a kick out of it too. But Mike Mignola cover. Yeah, I just thought it was cool. Lobo. Kind of a charging cover. Here's Battle Beasts, #3 from Blackthorn Publishing. This is from the Hasbro toy line from 1986. Got that for $1. Just a nice Michael Turner cover. Action Comics 813 from the spring of '04. Barry Windsor Smith on the first issue of Bloodshot. I think there was Kevin Van Horn writing and Don Perlin on the art. Found this copy, it's my favorite Magnus Robot Fighter Jim Shooter story. It's kind of the story of the first time Magnus gets to leave his training sessions, and he kind of goes out and he has a vacation. He meets a girl, saves her. It's a really cool, like, early outing of a hero. Just his first kind of romance and everything. It's a cool story. Very Jim Shooter story. Another Mark Tex, Pantha, issue 6 from Dynamite. It's from 2020, or 2012, I mean. I got this for $1. I needed this. It wraps up my Doc Manhattan Before Watchmen. I thought I had this, but what I actually owned, this is book 104. I owned, I think, 2 copies of issue 4 where Miss Uspechik is crying and the mascara is running, the classic Adam Hughes. makeup running cover, just, him doing his thing with that. But I didn't own this one, so I could finally read the story. So added that. A couple of new books. The Swamp Thing 3 of 10. I mean, I had to get it because, 2 Poison Ivies. Yeah. Batman 108, because my brother brought it up. Got one for him. And shout out to Mike, Comic Crypt of Castle Hills. Excuse the lewd cover, the Manara. Mike and I, we both have an admiration for Gillum March. I believe this is the first kind of like new launched title from Image I've bought since forever. I mean, I do my best to pick up Savage Dragon, and I'm kind of missing out on Spawn right now. But I saw this book in Comic Crypt of Castle Hills' videos, and I just fell in love with it. So I even want to draw the characters, so I got a sketch cover, and I think it's a really cool design. Issue 2, and the last book, issue 3. So anyway, yeah, that's what I've been up to. I have probably another haul maybe in a couple of weeks, hopefully sooner. I've been waiting on some books since forever. I ordered some books last year in December, and they're so far behind at Action Lab that I'm expecting some Zombie Tramp, the last issue of Vamp Blade, some Savage Dragon stuff, some Tarot Witch, the Black Rose, just the usual stuff I like to get that I'm trying to continue to keep the collection, the run alive. But anyway, check it out. Check out Kyle Rose running a contest right now for an opened, but a Pokemon game with the carton and the instruction manual. And Fred Hall's running a contest. Check out my friend PGH Zombie. He does videos almost like every Monday, every Friday. Yeah, and check out Davis Comic Finds. He's got some really good books to share pretty soon, I'm quite certain. Anyway, yeah, I got to work tomorrow. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, and I just thought I'd get this video under my belt. I really enjoyed shooting the videos in the daylight, sharing the books by the window, but it just didn't have the time this week, and my schedule didn't allow it. But hopefully this is cool. Kind of look at the books in the lamplight. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your week, or a great Sunday if you happen to see it right as I post it. Take it easy.